A bride vanished minutes before her vows. No struggle, no trace, just silence. Someone powerful wanted her gone, and the town let it happen. But Emily left behind one thing no one expected, a daughter who remembered everything. And now, after 10 years of lies, the truth finally roars to the surface. They had rehearsed the entire schedule down to the minute. After the ceremony, Emily was supposed to meet Jason by the fountain for photos. Instead, at 7:43, she leaned into Sarah's ear, voice trembling slightly. "I just need a moment alone in the chapel." Sarah didn't argue, just nodded, and watched her disappear behind the carved wooden doors for what would become the last time anyone saw her. The reception hall filled with champagne glasses and laughter. Guests assumed Emily was adjusting her makeup or fixing her veil. Jason stood with one hand clutching a glass, the other tapping his thigh. By 7:52, he was pacing. At 8, the DJ asked for the newlyweds. At 8:05, Jason snapped, "Where the hell is she?" Sarah returned to the chapel. She found the door ajar. Her breath caught. On the stone threshold lay Emily's heels, perfectly aligned, toes pointing inward. One strap torn. The air inside the chapel felt wrong, thick, cold, too silent. She called her name. No answer. By 8:10, police were already notified. Officers sealed off the site within the hour. But every single CCTV feed around the chapel glitched at the same time. 7:44 to 8:01. Black static. Like someone had pulled the plug on time itself. 10 years later, the shoes were still there. Encased in thick glass. Untouched. Untampered. A silent monument to a mystery that never loosened its grip. Now, Jules Linton, a rising live streamer known for her viral urban mystery series, stood outside that very display. Her followers flooded the chat. "We're live outside Holy Cross Chapel, where bride Emily Cartwright vanished into literal nothing 10 years ago today." She crouched, angling her phone toward the glass. These are her shoes, the exact pair she wore on her wedding night. She never made it to the reception. The chat exploded. Zoom in. Check the laces. They look new. Jules did a double take. The leather was smooth. No dust. No fading. The soles looked polished. Not a scratch. She frowned. This can't be right. They've been here for a decade. A cold wind pushed against her shoulder. Trees rustled behind the chapel. The lights above the entrance flickered once, twice, then dimmed. She took a step back. "Guys, did you see that?" Her chat window filled with comments. "The shoes moved. Double TF. Rewind. Call the cops." Jules blinked. The shoes had shifted, ever so slightly. One heel angled now, not perfectly aligned. Her breathing quickened. Her hand trembled as she adjusted the focus. Suddenly, a chime, a donation alert. $10,000. Stop the live stream. She stared at the message. Her brain scrambled for logic. Troll? Glitch? Another alert. Same amount. Same message. Her phone vibrated. A private DM from a user with no icon. "This isn't a game. Cut the feed or we'll cut the lights for good." She whipped around. A figure stood at the tree line. Still, watching. She took a shaky step forward. "Who's there?" No response. Another donation. $20,000. Walk away. Her chest tightened. Her viewers begged her to stay live. The number ticked up. 40,000. 50. Then came a whisper. Not from the trees, from the chapel. "Jules?" The voice curled into her ear like smoke. She turned, expecting to find someone behind her. Nothing. Just the chapel. And the faintest glow from the stained glass window. Inside, a flicker of white. Something, someone, moving. She pressed her face against the glass case. Inside, a handwritten note lay beneath the shoes. It hadn't been there a moment ago. She pulled out her phone to zoom in. 4 words. "I never left here." She screamed. The camera fell. The live stream ended. But 30,000 viewers had already seen it, and not one of them could explain what happened next. Because 3 minutes later, security arrived. The shoes were perfectly aligned again. No note, no figure, no jewels. Just her phone, still recording, still warm, still streaming, and still receiving donations. Sarah Duncan's phone wouldn't stop vibrating. Every buzz felt like a punch. Her DMs were a battlefield. Anonymous accounts screaming her name in caps. A dozen fake profiles tagging her in conspiracy threads. Someone had posted her home address to a missing persons subreddit. The comments were savage. You were the last one to see her alive. You knew she was in danger and said nothing. Where's the second phone, Sarah? Where is it? She closed the app, opened it again seconds later, couldn't stop. Her employer called that morning, suspended without pay. Pending investigation, they'd said, trying to sound neutral. HR had reviewed the online backlash. One comment had 18,000 likes. If she's innocent, why did her story change? She paced her apartment, phone clenched in one hand, wine glass in the other. Her throat burned. She hadn't eaten all day. Couldn't. The doorbell rang. Her heart dropped. She checked the peephole. Empty. On the doormat, an envelope. Thick. No stamp. No return address. She grabbed it with shaking hands. Inside, a single wilting flower. One of the white calla lilies from Emily's bouquet. The petals were crushed, streaked with a deep red stain. Beneath it, an RSVP card from the wedding. On the back, scrawled in jagged handwriting, "You crushed her before the chapel ever did." She backed away, her breath hitching. No, this isn't happening. She called Detective Bryce, straight to voicemail. "Pick up, goddammit, someone's threatening me." No response. Her screen lit up again, a private message on Instagram. No name, no profile photo. "You lied about the veil." Attached was a photo, time-stamped 7:42 p.m., the night of the wedding. Emily stood near the garden arch, smiling, holding her bouquet. No veil. Sarah stared at the screen, her blood freezing. That couldn't be right. She remembered fixing the veil, tucking it beneath Emily's curls, telling her she looked perfect. That moment was burned into her mind. She whispered to herself, "I did. I swear I did." But the photo said otherwise. 2 minutes before she'd claimed to adjust it, Emily wasn't wearing it at all. Her hand trembled as she typed a reply. "Where did you get this?" No answer. She sent another. "Who are you?" The typing bubble appeared, disappeared, appeared again. "You touched someone else's veil." Sarah dropped the phone. What the hell does that mean? She ran to her closet, pulling out the box marked "Wedding Keepsakes." Inside, scraps of ribbon, photos, a lip-stained napkin, and the veil. The one she had claimed was Emily's. She held it up. The lace was wrong. Too thick, too ornate. Emily hated ornate. She gasped. "No, no, no, no." Her phone rang. Unknown number. She let it go to voicemail. A moment later, a new message. Audio. She pressed play. It was a voice, breathy, familiar, whispering. "Sarah, did you think no one would notice? It was never her veil." The voice cracked into laughter. She slammed the phone down, heart racing. Someone was playing games. Someone knew. But what did they know? She grabbed her coat, keys in hand, and ran to her car, the veil stuffed in her purse. She drove without thinking, past the city lights, toward the chapel. She needed to see the glass case, the shoes, the altar, something, anything that could help her remember. The parking lot was empty, just her car and darkness. She approached the chapel steps and froze. There, in front of the sealed display, a new item, a veil, floating, taped to the inside of the glass. Not the one in her purse. This one matched Emily's dress exactly. Delicate, clean, no dust. Beneath it, a Polaroid. Sarah, standing in the bridal suite, holding something in her hands. A veil, but not Emily's. Someone had been taking pictures that night. Someone had always been watching. Sarah took a step back, and her phone buzzed again. Now, do you remember what you really saw at 7:45? She stared at the veil, and her mind began to crack. Lorne Bryce hadn't stepped inside Holy Cross Chapel in almost 8 years, not since the night he signed the final report, Case Unsolved. He'd written it himself, punched the keys so hard the ribbon bled. But now he was back. The air hit different, thick, like the walls were holding their breath. His boots echoed against the stone floor. The pews stretched out in rows of silence, coated in a soft veil of dust, untouched by time. All except one. Center left, second from the front. The pew where the dress had appeared. It lay there, folded with obsessive precision. White silk, no creases, no age, no explanation. Still smelled faintly of lavender, Emily's favorite, a scent no one should have smelled for a decade. He scanned the area with his flashlight. No signs of entry, no footprints, no security alerts. He knelt beside the pew, ran his fingers along the floor. One tile sounded different, hollow. He wedged it loose with his key. Underneath, darkness, a cavity, shallow but deliberate. Inside, a photograph, glossy, date-stamped 1 week ago. Emily, sitting on this very pew, smiling. Bryce's chest tightened. Behind him, wood creaked. He turned, fast. The cushion on the pew had shifted, a slight indentation now, fresh, like someone had just stood up. He whispered, "Is someone here?" Silence answered. Then the pipe organ groaned, one low note, sustained. No wind, no player. He spun around, hand on his sidearm. The doors were still locked. His phone buzzed. One new message, unknown number. "You're late." He stepped into the aisle, scanning the stained glass above. Nothing moved, and yet every instinct screamed, "You're not alone." He called dispatch. "This is Bryce. I need backup at Holy Cross, now." The operator hesitated. "Sir, you're retired." "Then call whoever's not." The signal dropped. Another buzz. A second message, same number. "Check the confessional." He hesitated, then turned toward the booth near the side wall. The curtain hung half open. He pushed it aside. Empty, except for something on the seat. A hymn book. Pages torn near the back. Scribbles in red ink on the margin. "Forgive me, I was complicit." He flipped the book. A name etched into the leather cover. Jason. His fingers tensed. Suddenly, footsteps echoed from the balcony. Fast, then silence. He aimed the flashlight. Nobody. A shadow darted across the stained glass, gone before he could focus. His phone buzzed again. Live photo. He opened it. The same pew. Empty. Then, as the image moved, Emily appeared. For a split second, sitting, blinking, then vanishing like steam. He dropped the phone. His voice cracked. "Emily?" The pipe organ let out another long groan, lower this time. He stepped back, heart pounding. Behind the altar, something clicked. He raised his light. A small wooden door, hidden beneath the choir risers. It was open half an inch. He moved closer, slowly, quietly. Reached for the handle. Inside, a locked metal box, engraved with the initials EC. He pulled it free, heavy, cold. A faint sound rose from inside. Ticking.
And then, a whisper, so close it felt like breath on his ear. "You're not supposed to be here." He turned. The pews were empty, but every cushion now bore the same indentation, like an audience had just stood up, all at once, and somewhere beneath the church, something began to hum.
The lights were too bright, the studio too cold. Jason Cartwright sat stiff in his chair, hands folded tight, the wedding ring still on his finger. The producers had begged him for years to speak. Now, with the dress resurfacing, the timing was irresistible. "America wants closure," they said. He looked dead into the camera. "If anyone knows where Emily is, please, I'm begging you, tell me." The audience went still. Then the host tilted his head, voice softer than usual. "Jason, we've received an anonymous tip. It claims you weren't alone the night before the wedding." Jason blinked. "What?" "We were sent a photo." His jaw locked. "That's a lie." The host nodded to the producer. The screen behind them lit up. Blurry, grainy, but unmistakable. Jason, shirtless, standing on a hotel balcony, a woman's silhouette beside him. He stared at it like it was a crime scene. "That's not Emily." The host's tone sharpened. "Then who is she?" Jason looked down, silent. A vein in his temple throbbed. "Jason, are you denying this is you?" He stood suddenly, mic clipped to his lapel. The camera followed as he stormed off set, tension rippling through the studio. Off stage, he pulled out his phone, voice low. "Don't call me again. I told you this was over." Then he hung up. A PA tried to stop him. "Mr. Cartwright, your contract says—" He cut her off. "I don't care." He pushed past her and out the back door. Outside, the sun hit him like a spotlight. Paparazzi were already there. One shoved a mic in his face. "Jason, who was the woman? Was it Emily?" He shoved through the crowd, got into his car, slammed the door. His phone buzzed. Text, unknown number. Guess who leaked the photo? He stared. Another message popped up. "You should have destroyed everything. She warned you." His hands trembled. Another buzz, an audio file. He hit play. Emily's voice. "If this ever comes out, you know what they'll do to me, and to her." He hit pause, rewound. "To her." His breath hitched. He rewound again, listened once more. "Not me, not us, but her." His thoughts raced. Who was she talking about? His phone buzzed again. A location pin. The message read, "Go there now, or I'll send the next one to the press." He stared at the pin. Not a place he recognized. He started the car. The drive was long, rural, empty. GPS led him off the main road into a narrow trail surrounded by trees. His headlights caught something up ahead. A mailbox, faded, no house in sight. He parked, got out. There, leaning against the base of the mailbox, an envelope. His name handwritten across the front. He opened it. Inside, a photo, printed, crisp. Emily, in a hospital gown, holding a newborn. Jason's knees buckled. He gripped the mailbox for balance. On the back of the photo, "She's not gone. She just never wanted you to find her." His phone buzzed again. This time, a video. He pressed play. Grainy footage. Emily, older, sitting in what looked like a waiting room. A girl beside her, 7, maybe 8. Same eyes, same mouth. His. He gasped. And behind them, barely in frame, a nurse's badge. St. Dymphna's Children's Home. He looked up, around. No one in sight. But somewhere beyond the trees, a branch snapped. And then another. Footsteps. He shoved a photo in his pocket and got back in the car. The phone rang. Same number. He answered, voice shaking. "What do you want?" A woman's voice, filtered, familiar. "Stop digging, Jason.
You're 10 years too late. He laughed. I want the truth. Then come see it for yourself. The call ended. He sat in silence. The truth wasn't buried. It was walking around, breathing. And someone had made damn sure it stayed hidden.
The storage lot was colder than expected. Rust coated the edges of every unit door. Lila parked near the back, engine still humming, heart pounding faster than she liked. Her finger hovered over Asher's pen. Unit 17B. She slid the bolt. The door groaned open. Inside, dust curled in the flashlight beam. Empty shelves. A single cardboard box in the middle. No label, no tape, just sitting there like someone placed it minutes ago. She stepped in, her breath fogged. Kneeling, she opened the box. The first thing she saw was the phone. Black, dead. A burner model from 10 years ago. The kind dealers used, or people running from something. She picked it up. Factory reset screen. No SIM, no clues, nothing. But under the cardboard flap, paper. A spiral-bound notebook. She pulled it out, heart thudding harder. Emily's handwriting, sharp, precise. Page after page of notes, numbers, initials, crossed out times and new ones penciled in above. Code names, meeting points. Then a page that stopped her cold. At the top, contingency if I don't show. Below that, JS, 11:45 p.m. night before. Must confront, record everything. The letters were circled in red. Lila whispered to herself, JS, who the hell is that? She snapped a photo. Her phone buzzed. A new message, unknown number. Put it back. Her fingers froze. Another buzz, a photo. It was her, from seconds ago, unlocking her car door outside the unit. She stepped up fast, knocking the box. Her pulse roared in her ears. Another message. We don't want her voice heard again. She ran to the unit door, peered out. Headlights at the far end of the lot. A dark SUV, engine humming. Someone inside, unmoving. She ducked back into the unit, slammed the door shut. She texted Asher. Someone's here. They're watching. Bubbles appeared, disappeared. Finally a reply. Leave the notebook. Take the phone. It's tagged. She typed. Tagged with what? No answer. She tossed the notebook back in the box, slid the phone into her pocket. The SUV door creaked open. Footsteps. Heavy. Deliberate. She turned off her light, held her breath. The footsteps paused right outside her unit. She gripped the bolt with shaking hands. Then a whisper through the metal. Emily didn't run. She chose silence. The voice sent chills down her spine. It wasn't a threat. It was a warning. The footsteps retreated. She waited 5 full minutes, then peeked through the crack. Empty lot. No car. She sprinted to hers, threw the door open, peeled out onto the road, tires screaming. 10 minutes later, she pulled into a diner parking lot, locked the doors. Finally breathed. She pulled the phone out again. The screen flickered. Battery, 3%. A single text draft auto-saved in the Notes app. JS is not who he says he is. If anything happens to me, check the chapel floor. The note timestamp, 2:09 a.m., 2 hours before the ceremony. She stared at the screen until it went black. Somewhere deep inside, she knew. This wasn't just Emily's voice. It was her final message. And now, Lila carried it. The forensic lights cast everything in brutal clarity. Cold, white beams bled through the chapel's stained glass, washing the altar in an otherworldly glow. Detective Bryce stood motionless, the hymnal open in his gloved hands. Pages were missing, torn with urgency, not age.
He flipped carefully, then paused. Inside the spine, tucked deep where no priest would notice, a slip of paper. Folded twice, yellowed, deliberate. He opened it. The words punched him in the chest. I lied. She was never supposed to go through with it. She knew too much. No signature, but the handwriting, tight, curled, familiar. He pulled up the RSVP archive. Sarah Duncan's card, 2014. Same curves, same slant. Bryce whispered to himself, "No, not her." He hit call. Sarah's number rang, straight to voicemail. He tried again, nothing. Then Leela, no answer. His phone buzzed, an encrypted file transfer, no sender. He tapped play. A video, time-stamped, grainy. Emily, sitting in the chapel, eyes red, shoulders shaking. She was crying. They told me I had to disappear, or they'd go after my sister. Her voice cracked on the word sister. Bryce leaned in. Behind her, movement. A figure stepped into the frame, slowly. Hair pulled back, a pearl bracelet catching the light. Sarah. Emily looked up at her, begging, "Please, don't let them do this." Sarah didn't respond, just stared down at her. Then the video cut. Static. Bryce stood frozen. Everything shifted. This wasn't about love. It wasn't about fear of marriage. It was containment. He played the video again, paused on Sarah's face. He whispered, "What did you do?" His phone buzzed once more. New message from the same number. She was trying to protect something, not herself. He texted back, "Who are you?" No response. He stared at the altar. 10 years of dead ends, half-truths, theories, and this note was the first thing that felt real. He stepped outside, dialed HQ. "Detective Bryce, I need facial comparison on a 10-year-old video. Focus on the secondary subject." The operator confirmed the request. ETA, 30 minutes. He walked to his car, sat behind the wheel, silent. Then the thought hit him. Sister. Emily didn't have one. Or did she? He dug through the original wedding files, family trees, guest lists. There, a name crossed out. Mira Collins, cousin, raised together. He searched her. Nothing. Then he tried a background trace. Collins wasn't her legal surname. It had been changed to Duncan. His pulse spiked. Sarah and Emily weren't just friends. They were family. His phone buzzed. The facial scan came back. Secondary subject, 87% match to Mira Collins. Sarah Duncan wasn't who she claimed to be. She wasn't just the best friend. She was the secret sister. He stared at the results, and something cracked inside him. She'd been in plain sight the entire time. And she'd lied to every investigator, including him. His phone lit up again. Video call request. From Sarah. He answered. Her face filled the screen. Eyes wide, pale, breath ragged. "Bryce, they're following me. I didn't mean for this to happen." He barked. "Where are you?" She shook her head. "You don't understand. She knew about them. About the accounts, about the ledger. It was never supposed to go this far." He interrupted. "What ledger?" She opened her mouth. A crack of sound. Her screen jolted, then blacked out. The call dropped. Bryce tried to redial. No signal. His phone buzzed one last time. A live GPS ping. Her location. Moving fast. Heading back to the chapel.
The envelope felt heavier than it should have. Sarah stood in the doorway, heart pounding as she peeled it open. Inside, a torn tabloid cover. The headline read, "Bride Alive?" But the ink was smeared, something red, thick, not just ink. Underneath, a note, sloppy cursive. You lit the match, now watch it burn. Her hands trembled. She turned it over. 4 words carved in jagged letters. We saw what you did. Her grip loosened. The paper fluttered to the floor. The phone buzzed. Unknown number. One message. Go back to the chapel. Under the pew. You have 1 hour. Her breath hitched. She didn't answer. Didn't ask who. She just ran. The car ride was a blur. Streets twisted, headlights blurred. Her palms slick on the wheel. She parked half a block down. Midnight air thick with silence. No cars, no witnesses. She crossed the street, eyes scanning windows. Nothing moved. She reached the chapel door. Unlocked. She stepped inside. The cold hit first. Not just air-conditioned cold, the kind that wrapped around bones. She walked the aisle, every step louder than the last. The pews stood like statues. She stopped where the dress had been. Kneeling, she slid her hand beneath the cushion, felt something metallic, pulled it free. Emily's locket, still warm. Her breath caught. She opened it. 2 photos inside. Emily and a child. A girl, maybe 6 or 7. Same curls, same eyes. Sarah stared at it, paralyzed. Behind her, a creak. She spun. Nothing, just the empty pews. She whispered, "Emily?" Silence. Her phone buzzed again. Another text. "Now you understand. Keep going." She looked around, then back at the cushion, ran her fingers deeper. Another item. A folded piece of paper, edges frayed. She opened it. A birth certificate. Name, Lily Cartwright. Mother, Emily Cartwright. Father, redacted. Sarah blinked, lips parted. Her chest tightened. The sanctuary door slammed shut. She turned fast, still alone. But someone had been here, left these on purpose. She reached for her phone. Another message. "Don't run this time." She typed back, "What do you want from me?" Dots appeared, then vanished, then appeared again. Finally, "Tell the truth, or we will." Her phone vibrated again, a video attachment. She opened it. Surveillance footage. A hotel hallway. Emily walks past the camera, alone, crying. Seconds later, Sarah follows, stops, looks into the camera, covers it with her hand. The video ends. Sarah dropped the phone. Her knees buckled. She sank to the pew, locket still clenched in her hand. Whispers echoed from the back of the chapel, soft, layered, like 100 voices murmuring at once. She stood, heart racing. "Who's there?" Silence. Then one clear word. From nowhere, from everywhere. "Liar." She ran, out of the chapel, into the street, wind slicing through her. The locket still burned in her palm, and deep inside, she knew the hour wasn't a warning. It was a countdown.
The coroner zipped the bag slowly. Delilah Cross, dead at 47. A woman who lived on whispers and candlelight, now silent forever. A cup of tea spilled at her feet. No signs of struggle. But the color on her lips? Too blue. Bryce stood in the doorway of the autopsy room, eyes locked on her hand. "You said she was alone?" The technician nodded. Door was locked from the inside. No forced entry. No prints on the kettle. Bryce stepped forward. He bent down. Delilah's fingers clutched something tight. He pried it free. A slip of paper. 4 words, handwritten in slanted loops. "I can't leave. They won't let me. The chapel is the lock." The technician stared. "That's Emily's handwriting." Bryce didn't speak, just stared at the note. A second tech leaned over the scanner. "Got a partial. Not hers, not Cross's." He looked up.
It's Jason Cartwright. Bryce blinked. Slow. You're sure? Matched to the hotel registry card from the wedding night. Same pressure points. Same ink flow. Bryce's phone buzzed. Jules Linton. He picked up. What now? Her voice cracked with static. I need you to see this from the live stream, 20 seconds in. He opened the clip. Glitchy, but clear enough. Jules walking the aisle, camera shaking. She zoomed in on the shoes. Then, there, in the left corner of the frame, a shadow. Human-shaped, but wrong. Too tall, slightly blurred, like the lens refused to focus. And then, movement. A head tilt, a faint shimmer. Veil. The outline of a wedding veil. Bryce froze the frame, enlarged. The figure stood where Emily vanished, watching. He whispered, "That's not a trick of light." Jules texted, "It's still there. I walked right past it. Didn't see anything in real life." Another message, "But it's on the recording. I didn't edit anything." A pause. "Do you think it's her?" Bryce didn't answer. Instead, he called HQ. "I need Jason brought in. Tonight. Quietly." The operator hesitated. "He's off-grid. Went dark after the interview." Bryce slammed the paper against the table. "Find him." Another ping. Jules again. She sent a screenshot. From 2 hours ago. Same angle. Different live stream. The figure was gone. But in its place, a smear of red on the chapel wall. Words scrawled in something thick. Locked in. Not dead. Bryce's voice dropped. Jesus Christ. The technician looked up. There's more. He pointed to Delilah's nails. Underneath, scraped in black. Tiny shavings. They ran a light over it. Wax. Not candle wax. Older. Industrial. Church sealant. Bryce leaned closer. The residue matched the altar floors. Delilah had been there recently. He whispered, "She went back." The tech looked confused. To do what? Bryce's eyes narrowed. To break the lock. His phone buzzed again. This time, voicemail. A distorted voice. Female. Faint. "Help me. They're coming back." Then static. Then a click. Bryce stood in silence. For the first time, unsure if he was chasing the living or something else. He looked back at Delilah's body, her hand twitching slightly under the sheet. Or maybe it just looked that way.
The caretaker dropped his keys. They clanged against the tile and echoed through the empty chapel. His flashlight shook as he stepped forward. On the front pew, Emily's wedding dress, folded perfectly. The satin shimmered, untouched by time. No dust, no creases. It looked ironed, pressed, placed. And it was warm. He didn't check the thermostat, didn't touch the fabric again. He turned, ran, dialed 911 with trembling fingers. By the time the police arrived, he was sitting on the steps outside, pale as chalk. Detective Bryce was first through the door. He moved slowly, eyes on the dress. He didn't speak, just stared. No windows had been opened, no doors forced. The building had been sealed for years. Even the alarms never went off. But the dress was here. The live stream started less than an hour later. Jules Linton, winded and breathless, climbed through the back entrance with her phone already recording. Her chat exploded. "This has to be fake. It's pristine. There's no way. Who opened the door?" Jules whispered to the camera. "This chapel's been sealed since the renovation announcement. No one's been in. And the caretaker's locked the front behind him. I got in through the storage annex. Look." She zoomed in on the dress. The fabric caught the morning light. Still glowing. Still perfect. The comments flooded again. "Zoom closer. Check the floor. Why is it warm?" Then one stood out. "She's not gone. She's waiting." Jules read it out loud. The second she said it, every pew creaked. Simultaneously. Not a groan, not wood settling. It sounded like dozens of people sitting down at once. Jules screamed. The camera shook violently. She spun in place, filming every aisle, every bench. Empty. Not a soul. Then something flickered at the edge of the frame. The final pew, back corner. A hand. Small, pale, moving out of view. Jules gasped. "Did you see that?" She sprinted forward, heart in her throat. The last pew sat in shadow. Empty again. But the seat cushion was dented. Recently. She turned slowly, whispering. That wasn't Emily. Her phone vibrated. A new message. A new message from her mod team. A still frame from the stream. The hand, frozen mid-motion. 5 tiny fingers. A bracelet around the wrist. Plastic, blue, with letters. Lily. Jules dropped her phone. It hit the ground, screen cracked. She whispered, "Lily?" A child's voice, distant, echoed through the chapel. "I can't leave. They won't let me." Jules ran, didn't look back. But the stream kept going. One frame, then another. Behind the pew, the veil appeared again. Just the edge, just enough. Then static. Then black. Bryce stood alone in the chapel. Forensics buzzed behind him. Scanners chirping, thermal sensors blinking. The dress was sealed inside a temperature-controlled case, its silk skirt still radiating heat. But no one could explain it. "It's like someone wore it 10 minutes ago." The tech looked pale. He tapped the screen again. No sweat, no cells, nothing. Like it wasn't even alive. Bryce turned away. He didn't need another theory. He needed a truth. He walked slowly down the aisle, each step a creak. The air hung heavy, like breathing through velvet. He stopped at the pew, the one where the dress had rested. He knelt, pulled up the cushion. Underneath, foam padding, but not untouched. Indentations. 2. Precise, curved at the hips, angled just right, like someone had sat there. Recently. Bryce froze. He pulled up his phone, opened the file of archived surveillance photos. Same angle, same pew. From the day before. Flat, untouched, no marks. But now, the impressions were deep, permanent. The foam didn't rebound when he pressed it. Not a ghost. His voice barely broke a whisper. Someone was here. He ran his hand across the fabric again. Cold now, but not stiff. Still pliable. His phone buzzed. Unknown number. One message. "You're too close. Stop digging." Attached, a photo. His daughter, walking to school, backpack swinging, smile wide. Taken from behind. Zoomed, clear. He staggered backward, dropped the phone. His pulse exploded in his ears. He grabbed it off the floor, dialed her number. It rang once, twice. "Come on, pick up." 3 times. Then her voice, calm, unaware. "Hey, Dad?" He exhaled, knees weak. "Where are you?" "On the bus? Why?" He glanced at the photo again. She wasn't on a bus. She was alone, walking. He forced calm into his voice. "I'll meet you at school, right now. Stay put, okay?" "Dad?" "Right now, Lily. Stay where you are." He hung up, called HQ. "I need a car outside the chapel, right now." The operator responded. "You said you wanted to work alone today." "I changed my mind." He killed the line, picked up the cushion again. Something fluttered underneath. A sliver of white. He reached in, pulled out a torn envelope. Inside, a note. In handwriting he knew too well. His wife's. But she died 2 years ago. He read it out loud. "She's not the only one they locked away. I told you they'd come back." His hand shook.
A second buzz, same restricted number, new photo, Emily, or someone who looked just like her, standing outside the chapel, today. Bryce stepped out into the light, and the door slammed shut behind him.
The caretaker's hands trembled as he unlocked the chapel again. This time, no ceremony, no flowers, just the weight of truth pressing on his chest. Detective, I didn't tell anyone, not even my wife, but the night Emily vanished, Bryce didn't speak, just waited. The caretaker's voice cracked. I heard footsteps from beneath the pulpit. Bryce turned slowly. There's no basement under the pulpit. The caretaker swallowed. There's something, I swear to you. They moved together, pulling back the altar carpet. Dust spiraled into the air. Bryce ran his hand across the worn wood, then froze. A seam, a panel, and at its center, a brass keyhole, ancient, almost ceremonial. The caretaker fumbled through his keyring, dozens of them, but one stood out. Tarnished, brass, older than the rest. He inserted it. Click. The panel creaked open. Cold air rushed up. A staircase, stone, narrow, descending into blackness. Bryce flicked on his flashlight. Stay here. The caretaker didn't argue. The steps groaned under each footfall. The air grew tighter, wetter. The walls pressed in. The beam of light cut through cobwebs and dust particles that hadn't moved in years. And then, a chamber, small, circular. In its center, a vault door. No keypad, no lock, just a handle. Bryce reached out, paused, then pulled. The metal gave way with a sigh. Inside, the room was silent, empty, almost. A single object sat on the floor. A teddy bear, brown, bow-tied, pristine. No dust, no wear. Its eyes glossy, almost new. Bryce crouched, heart hammering. He reached for it. Beneath the bear, something crumpled. He unfolded it. A wedding invitation. To Emily and Jason. Forever starts now. But someone had scribbled on it, across the RSVP line. Childish handwriting. See you there, Mommy. His breath caught. He looked around the vault. No other items, no exits, no clues, except the silence. He stood, heart pounding. Then his flashlight flickered. Once, twice. It died. Darkness, complete. Then a whisper, soft, just behind him. She never left. He spun. Nothing. He turned back to the door. It had begun to close. He lunged, wedged his shoulder into the gap, pushed. The door slammed shut. From the other side, Bryce was trapped, and something moved in the dark.
The chapel lawn was a circus. News vans packed shoulder to shoulder. Helicopters sliced the sky. Reporters shouted over one another like a pack of wolves circling a fresh body. Flashbulbs erupted. Sirens wailed in the distance. But Detective Bryce didn't flinch. He stepped out of the vault. Clutched in his hands, the teddy bear. Behind him, technicians sealed the stone door. Forensics loaded DNA samples. A child's blood, a mother's memory. Emily had a daughter, and that daughter wasn't Jason's. Inside the precinct, the second test confirmed it. The father's identity? A ghost from the files. Someone who should have never been near her. Bryce stared at the printout, his mouth dry. Then he flipped open Emily's notebook. Page after page of names. Some crossed out, some underlined. One name circled in red. Twice. J.S. Now he knew what it meant. Not Jason, someone else. A name buried in evidence logs, attached to a complaint that was never followed up. Filed by Emily, 10 days before the wedding. The press room filled like a dam ready to break. Microphones clipped, cameras live. Bryce stepped to the podium. No script,
just the bear in his hand and fire in his eyes. "This was never a disappearance," he said. "It was a cover-up." Reporters gasped, pens froze. "It went higher than any of us imagined, and it started long before the wedding." He raised the bear. "Emily didn't run. She was silenced, and someone made sure she stayed that way for 10 years. A woman in the front row asked, "Then who's the father?" Bryce didn't blink. "That information sealed pending arrest, but trust me, it'll shock this town." Another voice from the back, "What about the child?" He nodded. "She's alive." A wave of murmurs. "She remembers everything. The chapel, the vault, the threats. She's not afraid anymore." A third reporter shouted, "Where is she now?" Bryce smiled for the first time. "Safe, and she's ready to speak." The cameras rolled. The truth had cracked open. But outside the courthouse, a figure watched from a black sedan. Pearl bracelet glinting in the sun. Her phone buzzed. Message received. One word. Now. She slipped the car into drive.